After this week's episode of Invincible, Powerplex has got to be top 3 Crashouts of all time. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the way he was moving this entire episode was freaky. How are you gonna body your own wife and kid and then try to blame that on Invincible? I'm familiar with your game, buddy. You're not gaslighting me. But what's good, y'all? It's your boy Zah. We back at it like a crack at it, talking more Invincible. This time we got episode 6. Honestly, I think this might be, maybe, other than episode 3, it's a toss-up, or episode 2, this might be the best episode of the season so far. I thought it was amazing. I thought that they actually kind of animated this one pretty decently. I thought that the story kept up with, Invincible storytelling like it usually does. It was freaking awesome. And the voice acting was stand out this episode. Aaron Paul, oh my gosh. You deserve a round of applause because you fucking killed that role, bro. But enough yap. Let's start it all from the beginning of the episode. The episode begins and you kind of get a little bit of backstory on how Powerplex even became a thing. His name is Scott Duvall. He was just enjoying life, hanging out with his sister and her daughter in Chicago. They're just vibing, they're hanging out, they're chilling. He goes to grab a coffee real quick, then he's gonna head up the stairs and chill with him. But by the time that he comes back out, there is no building to go in. Because this is around that time when Omni-Man and Invincible had their first fight. Y'all remember that? When Omni-Man used Mark's face to kill thousands of people in Chicago? My hometown? Kind of crazy. Like, I could have been one of them people. Damn. He saw Mark holding his niece's hands in his arms. And he immediately goes into traumatic mode. And he puts it all on Mark. He puts it all on Invincible. He claims that he's a murderer. And he claims that he deserves justice. Which to a certain extent, he's right. Not the murderer part, but Invincible really can do it as he pleases. But I mean, when he's your only savior, your only hope, that's kind of how things work, you feel me? But ever since that moment, Scott has been living his life with rage, with regret, with anger. And more than anything else, he wants vengeance against Invincible for what he did, or what he thinks he did. And he infiltrates the GDA. He starts working there so that he can find out some ins and outs, so he can find out some insider info on Invincible, which leads him to getting his hands on these reactor rod things that basically power up his electrical powers. And the way that his powers works are kind of sick, I ain't gonna hold you. He has electrical powers like the Electros of the world, but the way he powers up is any damage that he can withstand that the normal person can't take, he's going to take that and he's going to turn it to his electrical energy. Like, that is tough. I ain't gonna hold you. That is fire. And that leads perfectly into his transition from just Scott Duvall into Crashout Powerplex. But right before that, we get another nice little moment between Mark, Eve, and Oliver. Mark's giving Oliver some more training lessons. This time, fight the elephant dude, the knockoff rhino. You feel me? I love that middle of the fight. He was like, "Hey, are you using me as a training exercise?" Like, no shit, bro. Your villain name is Elephant Gang. Nobody is taking you serious. I'm gonna keep it a band. Yeah, as we know, Oliver thinks he's way past his elephant nigga, which he probably is, to be fair. He definitely is. But Mark says this is how Omni-Man trained him, which leads into another heart-to-heart conversation about Omni-Man between Mark and Oliver. It's because Oliver tells Mark that he can remember everything from when he was a baby, which is kind of freaky. Imagine being able to remember everything from when you were 9 months old. That's freaky to even comprehend. I'm not gonna lie. But he remembers his dad taking him around the palace. He remembers his dad just being all around a good person. And Oliver feels like Earth deserves to see that side of his dad again. But Mark and Eve, knowing what he did and how many people he hurt, you can't balance that out. Just because he saved way more people than he hurt doesn't change the fact that he killed thousands and tried to take over the world. Which leads to Oliver asking Mark the question, will Earth ever forgive Omni-Man? This is honestly going to be one of the most interesting debates that Invincible drops, and as we keep getting seasons until we figure out the answer to that. But as of right now, I'm going to honestly say yes. I think eventually Omni-Man will redeem himself enough to where he won't be seen as a hero by Earth, but he'll be seen as one of Earth's mightiest heroes still. You know what I mean? Like, he'll get his rep back a tad bit, but he won't be glorified like he was back then. But yeah, after that conversation between Mark, Oliver, and Eve, we head into Powerplex, becoming Powerplex, and nigga out here practicing his speech. Like, you were clearly not like that if you got to practice your speech before again. You should just let that shit come from the heart, come from the chest. I ain't gonna lie, I was believing him a little bit, but I'm still gonna knock some points for practicing it. You got it, right? It's like The Rock riding his promos on his arms, bro. Like, ain't you a goat? I'm knocking you points. One big factor that I forgot to mention is just how ride or die and how Crashout-esque his wife also is in this situation, because she's helping him put the rods in order to get the rods to fully connect and have his electricity, you know, fully pour out through his body. He had to get the rods beat into him. She smacked his ass with the hammer 1 time, 2 time, 3 time in the face. The face shot was kind of crazy, I ain't gonna lie, but it works out at the end. Powerplex is surging with power. That was the right word to use. Surging. He was surging with power, and he was ready to bring Invincible to justice. While Powerplex is having a power trip, you feel what I'm saying? Mark, Eve, William, the gang, they pull up to the bowling alley again. William's out here hitting turkeys. What is up with this nigga William this season? Is he trying? What's that one dude's name? You know who I am, I are. However the fuck he says it. I might just butcher that. I ain't gonna hold you. They're chilling though. They're having a nice little double date. They're having a nice little night on the town. Until guess who pulls up? Amber? Amber comes out the cut? William tells Mark that he invited her. He said, hey, y'all both adults. Y'all better deal with it. I'm gonna be honest, that's still weird, gang. I don't care if we was 87 and a half. Like, you better let me know that my ex is coming, bro. L-Mans. That's an L-Mans moment from William. I ain't gonna hold you. This moment does give Mark and Amber the chance to, you know, reconcile, the chance for closure. And they moved on. Trust me, it's been a few months in the Invincible world, so, I mean, I guess it's okay. But they moved on because Amber pulls up with her new boyfriend, and everyone's like, oh, shit. Is it about to go down? Everyone's like, is it about to go down? Until Mark notices his Seance dog shirt, and they just hit it off, man. Shout out Seance dog. It's all it takes, bro. It takes niggas to have one thing in common, and next thing you know, they chopping it up best friends. Niggas is simple, bro. But everything's good. The vibe is right. Until they notice on the TV that somebody's crashing out in the middle of the street. Of course, we know who it is. It's Powerplex. He's on the TV. He's talking this shit. Good thing he practiced his speech, I guess, because he came out with confidence. He was causing a scene, trying to get Invincible's attention, trying to draw him out as much as he could. Not gonna lie, he was kind of yapping. They were starting to go OD with the Invincible card, too. He was like, this nigga invincible, and he is invincible, and his dick is invincible, and he licks invincible, and I want to fuck invincible. It was kind of great. Pause. Getting kind of out of hand, but at the same time, I love the chaoticness of it. You can tell they know it's a meme at this point. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it by playing too much into it, though. He's doing all this, though, for Invincible to say, I'm not the only superhero on this fucking earth. That's a great point. He is not the only superhero in the goddamn world. Somebody else go out there and deal with this nigga. And someone went out there indeed. My nigga shapeshift. Hey. Nobody knows who that nigga is. I'm gonna be honest. The fact that I even remembered his name off the dome, y'all should give me a little bit like, okay, you know your shit. Because the fact that I was able to come up with that literally off the dome was crazy. Shape's just like, hey, I'm not invincible, but I can give you invincible. He's memeing on his own, he's playing with him, and Powerplex is not here for that. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He's not trying to hurt any civilians, but this nigga Shapeshift is pushing it. So they start squabbling a little bit. They start duking it out. Shapeshift, he's kind of stupid, so he doesn't understand Powerplex's power yet, and it kind of backfires, and he gets his ass zapped and damn near dies. Shapeshift is the, oh my gosh, man. I honestly don't know who is the worst member of the Guardians of the Globe at this point, because they all have more lowlights than highlights. Am I wrong? I swear they all have more lowlights than highlights. Like, Black Samson lost his powers. Immortal dies every other episode. Shapeshift has half a brain. Kate thinks that she actually stopped the nuke from happening. You don't even believe that, gang. Come on. And if there's any other member on the team, I don't know, you're that irrelevant. Simple. So I'm getting off track. Powerplex, he proves his point. He puts Shapeshift down. He gets the fuck up out of there. He goes home and he talks to his wife. He's like, man, I gotta fuck that up. I kinda sold. I gotta turn myself in. We gotta get the fuck up out of here. It's over. We're cooked. And his wife, like I said, his wife is Crashout Jr. But as the episode goes on, she might be more Crashout than he is, low key, because she's still convincing him. She's like, hey, did you forget what tomorrow is? We can try it again tomorrow at the memorial for his sister and her daughter. What is wrong with this bitch, bro? What is wrong with this puta? What? Why would you try to go and attack a memorial for your sister? And he listens. Way of thinking wasn't necessarily wrong. Invincible was there, but he's not gonna come out and abide by your rules because you're sitting there begging and pleading for him to come out. Like, gang, this is embarrassing. Give it up already. You're literally ruining the memorial for not only your sister, but for the other thousands of people that died, gang. This isn't about you. Stop making it about you before I smack you. But like I was alluding to earlier, Powerplex pulls up once again, giving another excellent speech. Shout out Aaron Paul doing his motherfucking thing. Invincible is not responding to his lame ass though. Instead, Eve says, I got this. I'm gonna go deal with it. And she starts duking it out with Powerplex, who was low-key holding his own against Eve until, like I said, she figured out his powers. When you really think about it, Powerplex has pretty cool powers. But when you figure them out, useless. Eve figures out his powers, she stops his ass, and they're eventually able to send his ass to jail. Get that nigga in jail, bro. His dumb ass. It's too bad he was in custody for probably 10, 15 minutes. Showtime. He starts hitting himself. He starts hitting himself in the car and eventually breaks the hell out. And he ends up back at home again. Third time's the charm, right? Talking to his wife, telling her it's gotta be over with. We're done. It's cooked. We gotta get you up out of here. You gotta hide our son. This is over with. We're done. And Crashout Jr., who at this point is graduating to Crashout Senior, damn near, tells him that it's not over yet. We still got the nuclear option. And I'm not gonna lie, the option that they go with, kinda crazy. In order to get Invincible's attention, if he's a real superhero, he's gotta save a hostage, right? Especially if it's a woman and a child, right? Because Powerplex and his wife decide, tie me up and our son. Including the son is crazy. Including the son is crazy. At this point, Invincible was like, all right, this nigga is doing too much. Mark pulls up on Powerplex and he's like, nigga, what the fuck do you want? Like, Mark knows about Chicago. He knows that he was affected. He knows that he's dealing with the trauma from it, but he's still trying to save the people at the end of the day because he doesn't know that's his wife and kid. So Mark, you know, he's trying his best not to hit Powerplex. He also knows about his powers. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be one of those people, I'm gonna defend Mark this time. Y'all cannot say that Mark is invincible this time. There was literally nothing else he can do in this situation. I'm not gonna knock him too hard for this loss. I mean, he was trying to talk through it with Powerplex. He was trying to talk him down while he's still trying to go willy-nilly crashing out on him. Eventually he's like, all right, I'm sick of this. He sticks his ass under a piece of rubble. He's like, I'll get your bitch ass later. And he tries to save the people that he thinks are damsels in distress. And then she spits on his ass. Ooh. I would have been hot if I was invisible, bro. He uses this to his advantage, though. Powerplex sticks Mark, and he powers up. And he says, this is for his sister. This is for Gretchen. And he uses all his power. And he pretty much tries to deep fry Invincible. And he does a pretty damn good job of it. I mean, it looks like Mark is cooked, literally. But I'm sure me and you watching know that us humans cannot survive that much electricity. So unfortunately, his wife and his son were electrocuted and burnt to crisp. And he tries to blame Invincible for it. Ain't no fucking way, boy. There ain't no way. There ain't no way you have been trying to crash out this whole episode. And you literally saw the footage. You saw that Mark had no chance against his dad. You saw that he was getting his ass whooped. And you're still telling me that you believe that this is Invincible's fault? No, you're cooked, gang. Somebody get this nigga in a psych ward. No, somebody get this nigga in a penitentiary immediately and lock away the key. Throw that shit away. After that point, Mark gets his ass locked up into custody. And he tries having a little mini heart-to-heart with him. He's trying to get him to be able to reconcile with his feelings a little bit and get some type of closure at least. Telling him sorry, telling him he remembers their names, telling him he wants to be at peace with the situation, and maybe that can help him find peace with the situation. And this nigga Powerplex is still to the end blaming Mark. And he tells him, hey, I'll see you again. When I get up out of this bitch, I'm gonna find you. And I'm gonna kill you. But we gotta talk about the meat and the potatoes at the end of the episode. Get a post-credit scene. We see that the person who's been watching Mark, who we know is Angstrom Levy, confirmed last episode, is not alone. He has Mark, and he has Invincible, and he has Invincible, and he has another Invincible, and he has another Invincible, and he has an army of Invincibles. And he looks at them and he says, "This should do." Insinuating to me that he is about to attack our Earth, our universe, next episode. And I'm not gonna lie, we are absolutely screwed.